Well, the government has officially informed us that Christmas may be in trouble this year. Unless, of course, Santa is able to pick up the slack for our broken supply chain system. And the response to the supply chain crisis has been interesting to say the least, with everything from people blaming the pandemic to claiming that this is actually a sign of prosperity. And my personal favorite, one opinion writer at the Washington Post telling us all that we should just suck it up and lower our expectations. And yes, it's perfectly reasonable to point out that during a global pandemic, supply chains are going to suffer as a result. But the pandemic has also been revealing some real problems that predate COVID. For instance, if you were to guess, where do you think a US port like Los Angeles ranks in the world with respect to efficiency? Top 5? How about the top 10? Actually, we don't have a single port in the US that ranks in the top 50. And when it comes to the port in Los Angeles, it doesn't even rank in the top 300. And that can't be blamed on the pandemic. So what is it? Turns out there's a number of federal and state regulations that have put US ports at a competitive disadvantage. For example, US ports are open for fewer hours per week than many other ports around the world. Most Asian ports are open 24/7, while the ports in Los Angeles and Long Beach, they're only open around 16 hours a day. And much of this is the result of government-backed labor contracts, which explicitly limit the number of hours that American ports can remain open. Most of these union contracts don't just affect the labor hours, they drastically increase shipping costs by stifling much-needed modernization efforts in American ports. Ports in places like Europe and Asia have actually automated a lot of the process with respect to uploading shipping containers. So much so, the automated port in Rotterdam is about 80% more productive than the port of Oakland in California. And yet, the International Longshore and Warehouse Union continues to fight tooth and nail to prevent American ports from adopting the same technology that has made Japanese and European ports some of the most efficient in the world. Now, why would they do that? Well, in the words of one union official, those robots represent hundreds of lost union jobs. Now, time and again, we've seen how government works with certain industries in order to hold back new technologies or modernization efforts. Why do they do it? Well, it's to protect well-entrenched special interests that quite frankly have far better lobbyists than you and are dedicated to the status quo and terrified of change. After all, can you imagine what other industries like the internet or telecommunications would look like under the stress of such government regulations without the creative forces and innovation of the marketplace? In fact, one famous inventor predicted nearly 100 years ago that it would be innovation and creativity which would produce a world where we could communicate with each other instantly over large distances. And if you want to learn more about that prediction, you can click here. I'm Nick Freitas with the Y Minutes, where we challenge the popular narratives of our time. Please visit our channel to subscribe and share, and we'll see you next time.